morning, everybody, and we're out here at the Owingsville Cemetery, and we're going to talk to you a little bit about some of the graves and the veterans that we discussed on our podcast. What we have here is the Confederate Soldiers Monument here at the Bath County Cemetery. And regardless of your thoughts of the Civil War or who was right, who was wrong, what it was for, this is a symbol of respect for those who were lost in combat or afterwards for Bath Countyans. It was erected in 1907 by the Daughters of the Confederate Soldiers. And it has stood the test of time here. There was a big gathering here. Some of the actual soldiers from the Union and Confederacy came to witness this event when they dedicated it. Buried around this monument are several Bath Countyans who served in different components of the Confederacy. The most common one we found several of them, are the 2nd Kentucky Mounted Rifles. Those troops were part of a volunteer army that was organized around here in Bath and Montgomery County, and they served all over. A lot of them were mainly the home guard around here. Some of them went on to ride with John Hunt Morgan. If you know your history and talking about Morgan's raid through Kentucky and Ohio. But this is a nice little monument here for the soldiers. There's one prominent person that's buried over here. His name is Charles Hoon, who operated a very successful business after he left his service in the Army. And he went on to become the sheriff here at Bath County for a few terms. If you know anything about Owingsville, the building where Citizens Bank is now is the site of his undertaking and warehouse building. And he was very prominent here, a well-respected man, and then he passed away in 1904. I grew up around Jerome when I was a kid, and his sons and I are close in age. Mm-hmm. Jerome served in the 7th Artillery, and we didn't know a whole lot about his service. He never talked about it. It's what we were talking about on the podcast. People don't talk about a lot of the experiences. Jerome was one. He when he passed away from Agent Orange cancer, and it took him years to be able to get compensation for it. But anyway, it's a different story. He was in 3 major battles in Vietnam and was injured in combat. We didn't know all this until, of course, after he passed, and I decided we were going to make a medal display case for his medals and everything. His son Jason got a hold of one of the guys, Wayne Ragsdale, who served in the unit with Jerome. The 711 Artillery, and he was telling us about a particular incident one night where they were on a fire support base somewhere in the Tay Ninh province in Vietnam, and they came under an attack. And apparently, this was just an all-out attack on the base. They sustained heavy casualties. Jerome was a howitzer. He manned a howitzer. It was 105 millimeter.
Okay. Yeah.
Basically a cannon.
Yeah. The big guns.
The big guns. Yeah. So he was a corporal at the time, and part of the base got overran, is what Wayne told us. And as they came in, there was some mortars that came in and injured Jerome and another guy next to him. Mm-hmm. During the fight, even though he was injured, he lowered his gun to eye level and just started firing into the woods and taking out the enemy as they were coming in to take over the base. So that action alone saved that section of the base from getting overrun.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, he was medevaced over to the care station, the aid station, and the battle was over. They sustained some heavy casualties. For his actions, he got a Bronze Star with Valor, one of 2 that he would have received. The other one was in a firefight at another base, but he was wounded at this particular, it was Fire Support Base Mitchell, and it was 1968, and he never talked about it. When we were kids, we found his medals, as I was talking about in the podcast, and he told us to put them away. The flag that I just put up here, my dad, Tommy Kiskaden, brought the flag up here to honor Jerome. It's kind of a welcome home that most of them never got.
So what's all on the flag?
I'll go up here and I'll show you.
Yeah.
So basically, the flag is the map of South Vietnam, or the map of Vietnam, north and south. It says our cause was just. The reason it says our cause was just is because these guys were never given the proper credit when they came home. These that you see here are the major divisions and units that fought over there.
Okay.
101st Airborne, 82nd Airborne, 25th Infantry, and the first Infantry, and the cavalry units. So these guys on this map shows you a lot of the different places where these battles happened that these guys still remember vividly. And they don't ever talk about it, but they remember it vividly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a passage of honor for us to be able to put this on someone's stone. So that's basically the Vietnam flag.
Okay. Thank you for sharing, Rob.
No problem. Anybody in the Preston community knows the name Roscoe Cassidy. This guy was pretty much should have been the mayor of Preston back in the day. He was just a good person to be around.
Yeah, character.
He, at the time of his death, was the oldest living World War II veteran in Kentucky. He joined the military when he was 17 years old, a lot about his age. And joined.
That happened a lot.
Oh, yeah, it happened a lot, yeah. And he served in Europe during World War II. He was very decorated. He was part of an engineer battalion. And the road, Highway 965, that goes from Kentucky 36 through Preston is called the Roscoe Cassidy Memorial Highway.
Okay.
It's in honor of him. Like I said, he was well known. And his son still lives here, Mike, and then his daughter lives in New Jersey, Jody. And he was, when he passed away, it was one of the biggest funerals we'd had here in Owingsville.
Yeah.
He was escorted down here on a horse and buggy, full of military honors, and he was just a good person.
Yeah.
And so we were very honored to be a part of his service, and his service to his country, and everything was just remarkable. So, but this is Roscoe. He was a character.
He was a character, yeah, and he is down on the end of Owingsville Cemetery, right in the newer part.
Yeah, he's in the very back part of the newer section.
He's got a few people around him. But
yeah. This is Philip David McNeil. We talked about him in the podcast. He was his grandparents lived here, owned the McNeil Blossom Shop for years. He lived in Florida most of his life. Philip was on combat patrol in Iraq not too long after we invaded Iraq, and his convoy came under attack. His vehicle in particular got hit by IED, an improvised explosive device. He was one of 4 that were killed in the blast. Philip was a combat medic, so he died with his troops that he would have protected. When he passed away, we had this was the most recent combat veteran we had that was killed, and town emptied out for it. We had the Patriot Guard riders come through with the motorcycles. Task Force Omega came out with their bikes. I mean, it was just unbelievable honor that he was given. Family was very grateful. They came up from Florida. His parents did, and we just don't think as a young age that he was. We see these other gravestones that we've been taking pictures of. They were about the same. Some of them were about the same age.
Yeah.
But we don't put that into concept, I don't think, because it was so long ago.
Yeah, and that's a good point, because earlier when I took a picture, I was looking at one gravestone, and I don't think it was a veteran. It was just someone, and I was talking about how they were just 4 years older than my oldest son.
Mm-hmm.
And looking here, I mean, he was 4 years younger than my oldest son when he died. So I can look at my child and realize, and he was somebody's baby.
Right, and it's a price that veterans pay.
Yeah.
Not only the veterans but their families.
Yeah.
Because the families carry the burden just the same as the veterans.
Mm-hmm.
And when somebody this young, in recent memory, it kind of brings everything back to home.
Yeah.
Because we think of how the war affects us all.
Yeah.
And it's just but he was well honored when we had the service out here. We escorted him out
very
here.
Well.
The fire trucks and.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was a beautiful day.
Yeah,
from it was cold. It was very cold, but it was it was sunny. It was very cold.
Yeah.
But he was promoted on up to sergeant when he posthumously, because he was up for promotion when he was killed.
Yeah.
So they went ahead and gave him the promotion.
Yeah.
And so he yes, that's our most recent combat veteran that lost his life on the line of duty that was brought out here.
Yeah.
This grave is for Alfred Newton Crooks III. He lived near Olympia. He was on board the USS Saratoga, which is an aircraft carrier during World War II. February 21st, 1945, the Saratoga came under attack by Japanese aircraft, and they launched a kamikaze attack on them, crashed 30-some planes into the ship.
Okay.
Crooks was one of the sailors on board that was killed. Due to them being in the theater of operations in Iwo Jima, they buried him at sea. Him and the others, I think there were like 29 total killed.
Killed on it, yeah.
And there's actually pictures of that attack and pictures of them having the service with the bodies lined up on the deck before they, send them to sea. And so Alfred Crooks was one of them. He's on the National World War II Memorial plaque down at New Orleans, and he's also on a plaque in the USS Yorktown in Charleston Harbor.
Okay.
Of all the people who were killed on carriers for hostile action. As the Battle of Iwo Jima was raging on land, a lot of people they remember seeing that and seeing the picture of Mount Suribachi, raising the flag.
Yeah.
What they don't realize is there was just as intense battles going on at sea, and this is the result of one of them.